The moment you see that number flash on the screen, the panic is instantaneous and visceral. You feel the heat radiating from your skin, and your mind immediately jumps to the worst-case scenario: infection. Inside your bloodstream, the invader is real, a viral load racing through your veins, hunting for a way to cross over. But nature has built a fortress for this exact moment. The placenta is a biological gatekeeper designed to stand between chaos and your child. Watch as the virus strikes the wall. It claws and scrapes, desperate to breach the perimeter, but it finds no purchase here. For most common viruses, this barrier is absolute. The pathogen is repelled and the physical infection remains yours alone. But while the wall stops the solid soldier, it cannot stop the fire. Thermal energy has no shape and it respects no borders. The fever you feel is not just a symptom, it is a wave of pure energy that ghosts through the placenta as if it wasn't even there. Suddenly, the sanctuary of the womb begins to change. The cooling waters of the amniotic sac absorb that radiating heat, turning a safe harbor into a sauna. It is here, in this rising temperature, that the true danger lies, not in the bug that attacked you, but in the burn that follows. Now let's look inside at the cellular level to understand exactly why a developing brain fears the heat. Deep inside the developing cortex, your baby is building a masterpiece, placing millions of neurons on a precise schedule. To get to their final destination, these cells climb upward along radial glial fibers, biological ropes that guide the architecture of the mind. In a regulated environment, this migration is a symphony of motion, with every cell finding its exact seat in the orchestra. But when maternal temperature rises unchecked, the physics of this environment change drastically. The fluid thickens and the pressure mounts. The real enemy here is protein denaturation. The scaffolding your baby relies on is made of proteins that hold a very specific shape. Under the assault of high heat, these structural proteins begin to vibrate and unravel, losing the geometry required for the neurons to climb. Suddenly, the highway is broken. The migrating neuron reaches for a foothold that is no longer there, leaving it adrift in the tissue. Your body is smart. It deploys heat shock proteins, microscopic first responders that attempt to refold the damaged structures and hold the line. They can manage brief spikes of heat, acting as a buffer to keep the construction site open during minor fluctuations. But if the fever is high and sustained, these defenders are overwhelmed. The repair mechanism collapses and the damage becomes structural. This results in disorganized cellular clusters, neural traffic jams that can disrupt the wiring of the brain long after the fever breaks. We must, however, distinguish between the engine heat of a working pregnancy and the fire of an infection. A body temperature of 99 or even 100 degrees is often just the sign of a high-functioning metabolic engine fueling two lives. This physiological warmth is harmless. It is simply the byproduct of the incredible energy expenditure required to grow a human. The danger zone, the red light, typically begins when the core temperature sustains a level above 102 degrees Fahrenheit. It is not the momentary spike that causes the scarring, but the duration of the exposure. Time is the multiplier of damage. Understanding this threshold is the key to your power. You don't need to fear warmth. You only need to manage the heat. The moment a threat is identified, the priority shifts to changing the environment instantly. While the immune system fights the invader, standard care guidelines focus on acting as the climate control engineer for the child. Acetaminophen is widely cited in obstetrics as the primary tool here, acting as a chemical key for the brain's thermostat. When used under medical advice, it travels to the hypothalamus, helping to turn the dial down and signal the body to release trapped heat. The clinical goal is not necessarily to kill the virus immediately, but to extinguish the fire, protecting those delicate protein structures. We can visualize the urgency using a simple traffic light system. Green is the safety zone, up to 100.4 degrees. This is often just the body working hard, where hydration is typically the only requirement. Yellow is the caution zone, between 100.4 and 102 degrees. This is where providers usually recommend active cooling methods. Red is the danger zone, generally above 102 degrees. If a fever resists medication or climbs this high, immediate medical consultation is critical. The goal is not to panic at the first sign of warmth, but to prevent the sustained heat that disrupts development. By effectively managing maternal temperature, the baby is given the stability needed to continue their work. The virus may be at the gate, but so long as the heat is controlled, the sanctuary within remains secure. You are the guardian of the barrier, and armed with this knowledge, you are better prepared to protect the life growing inside you.
We hope this video gave you some peace of mind and clarity. If you found these tips helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps our channel reach more moms just like you. And don't forget to subscribe to Untold Birth for more hidden truths about pregnancy that you won't hear anywhere else. See you in the next video.